In the first full year of me making YouTube videos as a full-time thing, there was one pair of twins that we would talk about on a regular basis. You kind of don't need me to explain it to you. The Henrik and Daniil Sedin show on the Vancouver Canucks, they were so good, so dominant, they happened to be identical twins, and we made videos about them all the time. We also had ourselves a chance or two to talk about another set of identical twins, the Wahlgrens, who would have been drafted in 2018. They happened to be Swedish, their numbers were 44 and 55, and because Henrik and Daniil were retiring that year, a lot of Vancouver folks were saying, hey, the Canucks should draft these guys as their next replacement twin duo. Of course, it was more so of a meme than anything. The Wahlgrens were never drafted. But in today's video, we're taking our conversations from Vancouver and Sweden over to Philadelphia. Because when it comes to their recent 2023 draft, not only did they draft themselves one half of a twin duo, but they also invited the other guy to camp. Let's talk today about the 172nd overall pick in the 2023 draft in the 6th round by the Philadelphia Flyers, Ryan MacPherson. Now, this is a really intriguing player profile because MacPherson was born on March 2nd, 2005, 18 years old, from Windsor, Ontario, Canada, 6 feet 176 as a left-handed center, and if you take a look at his production in the GOJHL, which is the Greater Ontario Junior Hockey League, he had 61 points in 49 games played and 38 points in 24 games in the postseason for the Leamington Flyers. Kind of funny how he's playing for a team called the Flyers and he was drafted onto a team also called the Flyers, but Ryan MacPherson was the Flyers draftee at this position. If you take a look at the scouting report for MacPherson, MacPherson, who plays center, supports play lower in the zone and starts the breakouts. He acts as the connector, the passer who deceives defenders and moves the puck quickly around them. He ensures that the puck transitions smoothly from the defensive zone to the offensive end. That was from the Elite Prospects 2023 Draft Guide, and it pretty much describes MacPherson's game as more so of a transitory player, a guy who helps his team move from one zone of the ice to the other, and who has some pretty good passing on top of that. The thing is with Ryan MacPherson is that he actually has a twin brother, Connor MacPherson, and all Connor McDavid jokes aside, Connor MacPherson is a guy who also has himself a pretty intriguing profile. March 2nd, 2005, Windsor, Ontario, Canada, the birth date. Of course, he's a twin brother for crying out loud. Also 6 feet, 176, he is a right-handed winger. These guys both weigh the same and they're the same height. Go figure. Connor MacPherson, in this most recent season of GOJHL play, had 63 points in 43 games played, 28 goals, 35 assists, so roughly a tad better point production than his twin brother Ryan. Connor MacPherson also had 34 points in 22 games in the playoffs as well. And when it comes to Connor, he was not drafted. Only his brother Ryan was taken by Philadelphia. And if you wanted to read the scouting report on Connor MacPherson, it says here that the winger can release at the net in between two strides with a powerful weight. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, dude, the Elite Prospects Draft Guide has a swear word in there. What a bad spelling mistake. It should say a powerful weight shift, but instead it says a powerful weight something else. And yeah, I'm not gonna read that. I'm just gonna read it as intended, edit the screenshot so it's censored. Yeah, EP, you gotta go out there and fix that, man. Your Connor MacPherson scouting report has a swear in it. With a powerful weight shift that launches to the top of the net. Connor MacPherson possesses some physical skills and the cycle game to go with it. His passes are simple, but they keep the puck in control of his team in the offensive zone. His give-and-goes enable him to beat defenders and get possession back in scoring areas where he can use his release. Now that's all fine and dandy, and if you read these scouting reports, you might come away with thinking that, hey, Connor MacPherson and Ryan MacPherson, these are good hockey players, and for the most part, they are. It's just the GOJHL is not really anything special to write home about. It's Junior A hockey in Ontario. The MacPhersons were the only two GOJHL players on NHL Central Scouting's list. For North American skaters, if you wanted the information, Connor was actually ranked 128th and Ryan was ranked 211th. So the fact that Connor was undrafted and Ryan was drafted, it is kind of interesting and contradictory to the list, but still you have yourselves two guys that were talented enough to put themselves on the map. When it comes to the Flyers, though, and how this all relates to Philly, we had ourselves this post made by Lehigh Valley Athletics WS Champs on Reddit. This was on the Flyers sub. This is like 6 weeks late, but I just saw that the Flyers had both the MacPherson twins at rookie camp this summer. Does anyone know how they did? They coincidentally played for the Flyers in the GOJHL. And on the picture, you have both of the twins right there. Ryan was the draftee by Philly, and Connor was the camp invite. The first comment from Hawks27-2 says, I was at camp most days. I thought the MacPherson twins actually looked surprisingly good in the skill drills. They were both quite fast and have really heavy shots, especially for guys their age. Ryan, the one that the Flyers drafted, was really strong on the puck and was great at trapping and pulling the puck off the boards. Ryan was a bit faster, slightly better handles, and I'd say slightly better in shot. The separation between them isn't much, but I'd put Ryan at slightly better at everything. They struggled in small area games and simulated game situations where it looked like they weren't quite keeping up with the pace of the game mentally while they had the skills to keep up. I don't think this is a huge problem. They come from a much lower league compared to the other prospects. Some of them, like Forster, played in the NHL last year, and they won't even be in the AHL for 3 to 5 years, so they have plenty of time to get up to speed. And there are some other comments that go out there and address this idea that, hey, these guys are not able to keep up. What's up with that? And it's a really good point brought up that these guys played in, as we had said, Junior A hockey in Ontario. The GOJHL is not as good as Junior A hockey even in BC, wherein both the MacPherson twins will be heading over. They're playing in Penticton for 23-24 in the BCHL. This will give them another year to mature, develop, just kind of get the speed of the game a little bit quicker, a little bit faster up there. And then after their Penticton V stint in 23-24, they're projected to going to the University of New Hampshire in the NCAA. Both of these guys are following the same path, and why should they not? There's no reason for them to not kind of just do everything together and join the same teams. It'll help their development out, especially if this path continues and Connor is eventually drafted by the Flyers sometime next year as an overager, for example. Let's say both of these guys have stellar seasons in the BCHL, which wouldn't be out of the question, it's definitely possible, but if you see yourselves some dominant seasons in Junior A BC hockey out of these guys, there's no reason for a Flyers team to not go out there and draft the other guy, especially if he shows enough skills to be worthy of getting invited to camp in the first place. So this right here, the MacPherson twins, Ryan and Connor, it's an incredible story we've seen. Obviously, when it comes to twins in the NHL, we've only really had one situation of that occurring, and it happened to have 2 Hall of Fame caliber players, Art Ross winners, Hart Trophy winners. Okay, only one of them won the Hart, the other one won the Lindsay. 100-point guys, near Stanley Cup champions. I'm not going to say the MacPherson twins are going to have that type of success guaranteed in their careers, but still, this is a great story, especially for 2 guys that had such similar paths only to be directed down different routes sometime later. Sure, they're going to all the same hockey teams, but one of them was drafted and the other one was not. We'll see where exactly Connor MacPherson goes in the draft next year if he does end up being a re-entry draftee. If it is Philadelphia that takes him, then okay, awesome. If it's some other team, then hey, there you go. There's some family drama right there. But either way, if you're a fan of the Philadelphia Flyers or you're a fan of the Leamington Flyers in the GOJHL, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about the MacPherson twins? How do you feel about one of them getting drafted, the other one getting an invite to camp? How do you feel about them participating together? And the potential future of what these guys have in store. BCHL up next, NCAA afterwards, and then at the very least it would be AHL, assuming of course they end up signing contracts with either the NHL team that drafts them or just the AHL by itself. Ryan is the 2-way caliber center, Connor is more of the goal scorer or winger, and they have a pretty good complementary skill set to each other. So, if you're a fan of the Flyers in Philly or in the GOJHL, let me know your thoughts about these 2 guys. Any other scouting reports you could provide us for the MacPherson twins, and how well do you think they're going to be able to do in the BCHL, Junior A hockey here in Penticton? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.